It's clear that the Caribbean must remain a zone of peace. And in this regard, we strongly condemn the recent aggression and provocation by the United States of America in our region, manifested by the extrajudicial execution of at least 27 persons. And I think that number has risen within the last yes, including two Trinidadians, by some 6 drone strikes, blowing up ships out of the waters within our region, and an intense buildup of war machinery off the coast of Venezuela. We thank and stand in solidarity with CARICOM governments, which issued a release reaffirming the principle of maintaining the Caribbean as a zone of peace, and with civil society organizations across the region who have issued a statement entitled "In Nobody's Backyard," an open letter to the U.S. military incursions and reaffirming the Caribbean as a zone of peace. As the ESCTT strengthens its advocacy for decolonization, it is intolerable to watch these efforts by the United States of America to threaten the sovereignty of Caribbean states by reasserting principles of the Monroe Doctrine, which the U.S. believes gives its government the right to arbitrarily intervene in countries in the region to stabilize them, or in fact engage in activity to prevent what might be perceived as a threat to U.S. hegemony in the region. As we commemorate this month the Grenada Revolution, we are reminded of the relentless struggle of the peoples of Haiti to become the first democratic republic in this Western Hemisphere, and the strength and success of the Cuban people in shaping their own destiny. Grenada remains for us the English-speaking Caribbean, and for us in the English-speaking Caribbean, an outstanding example of a struggle, towards decolonization. Let us remember the devastating murder of our beloved Maurice Bishop, leader of that revolution, and how the U.S. responds to such perceived threats. The government of the United States has claimed that it is in a war with narco-terrorists in our region. But whom is this war being fought? Where is the evidence of narco-terrorist activity? Why have efforts not been made to attack this problem with the usual surveillance by U.S. Coast Guards, searches, confiscation, arrests, and trial? Since when is arbitrarily blowing up ships and killing people the way to fight crime or drug trafficking in the Caribbean? And why would anyone consider this to be acceptable and promote and encourage it? Let us be clear, the United States has no interest in the well-being of any country other than its own, and may be prepared to secure its hegemony by any means necessary. The United States' stated campaign against narco-terrorism in the region extends beyond security concerns and is instead aligned with broader geopolitical interests reminiscent of historical interventions, indeed a smokescreen for a more sinister plot to achieve regime change in Venezuela. The recent disclosure of authorized covert CIA operations in Venezuela clearly indicate the real objective underlying this campaign. We, the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean, must stand in unity, regardless of political or any other affiliation, and raise our voices against this U.S. aggression. War in our region will negatively affect us for years, all of us for years. Trinidad and Tobago in particular, situated a mere 10 miles away from Venezuela, will definitely be caught in the crossfire. We must all stand in defense of our countries our present and future generations. Thank you.
The violation of Caribbean sovereignty and the killing of 32 men. The recent invasion of our Caribbean waters and the extrajudicial killing of 32 men by the United States forces, sanctioned by the silence and complicity of our very own Prime Minister, constitutes nothing less than a violent desecration of our region's sovereignty. These killings carried out without due process, transparency, or accountability. Are a chilling reminder of the imperial arrogance that has long treated Caribbean lives as expendable in the name of security. Let us be clear, this is not protection, this is recolonization. Trinidad and Tobago's alignment with US military objectives marks a catastrophic betrayal of the Caribbean consensus that our region must remain a zone of peace. In a single stroke, our leadership has reversed decades of struggle towards regional autonomy, from the Federation dream to the founding principles of CARICOM, by inviting a foreign power with documented history of anti-Black, xenophobic, and extractive aggression into our waters. This government has traded the dignity of the people for the optics of proximity to empire. We must name it for what it is: the sale of sovereignty dressed as diplomacy. What we are witnessing, the invasion of our Caribbean waters, the killing of 32 men on alleged drug boats without due process or evidence, is not justice. It is murder. It is imperial violence dressed up once again in the rhetoric dog whistle of security and war on drugs. Again, let us be clear, this is not about drugs. It is about natural resources. It is about oil. It is about power. The United States, abetted by local collaborators, has long used narratives to justify control over territories rich in natural resources and geostrategic access. Our region has been a pawn in their empire building for centuries. With the apparent complicity now of our own leadership, the cycle continues. To our goodly Prime Minister, I say this: allegiance to empire is not leadership, it is capitulation. It is the mimicry of colonial power masquerading as progress, even as it alienates us from our Caribbean brothers and sisters who continue to insist on peace, independence, and regional self-determination. I write not as a partisan. I have long unsubscribed from our party-led politics, nor do I subscribe to the bankrupt capitalist system that sustains them. I write as a Caribbean socialist, aligned with the unrealized visions of those who imagined freer, fairer, more humane futures for our people. From Claudia Jones to Una Marson to CLR James to Morris Bishop to Audre Lorde to Sylvia Winter, may they all walk in power. Their work reminds us that another world was always possible, even when empire insisted otherwise. What we face now is a moral and ideological crisis. Not just of governance, but of imagination. It is time to reclaim both. We must begin to dream again, knowing we do not have all the answers, but still willing to painstakingly envision a brave new hybrid, uncolonized way of being, living and thriving outside of the death-riddled machinery of capitalism and militarism that has never served us. Caribbean sovereignty is not for sale. Caribbean lives are not collateral damage. And peace, true peace, must never be bartered for power. I am taking this public stance for my baby girl so that one day when history measures who stood silent and who spoke, there will be record that I did not sit idly by. However small, inconvenient, maybe terrifying or inconsequential it may seem to some, silence in moments such as these is complicity. So I stand here today for my daughter, for our children, for those not yet born. Let this be on record. I am Abeo Aisha Christabel Jackson, 6th generation American from the lineage of Amphi and Bashana Jackson.